Hello, everyone, and welcome to Holy Week Art History with me, your host, Ms. Banham. This week, we are going to be revisiting a work of art that we learned about last year during Holy Week, one of the world's most famous paintings, The Last Supper by Leonardo da Vinci. Now, if you were in Italy, you wouldn't call it The Last Supper. In Italy, you might call it Il Cenacolo. Say it with me, Il Cenacolo, or L'Ultima Cena, L'Ultima Cena. Oh, it's fun to say. So The Last Supper was painted during the High Renaissance in Italy. It's called the High Renaissance because it was a time of extreme virtuosity in painting. Artists like Da Vinci, Michelangelo, Raphael, perhaps you've heard of them. It was painted from 1495 to 1498, so it took Da Vinci 3 years to complete it. He was a perfectionist. It was commissioned by the Duke of Milan, very famous, and he actually was Da Vinci's first patron. It hangs on a wall in the convent of Santa Maria delle Grazie in Milan. And the wall it's on is actually in the refectory or the dining room there, so that the nuns and the monks and visitors could take their meal in the presence of the final repast of Christ. So you might be wondering what makes this painting so great. So let's pull it up and take a look at it. Here it is. So beautiful. Take a moment to take it in. So there had been many paintings of the Last Supper before Da Vinci painted this one. So really, what does make it so special? Well, I promise we'll get to that in a minute. First of all, I want to introduce you to the cast of characters. I think sometimes we look at this painting and we just say, oh, in general, it's the apostles, and of course Christ is at the center of the painting. But who are they? Let's see. On the left here, right here, this is Bartholomew. He became a missionary. He traveled to India and Armenia. Next to him is James Minor, and he's just called James Minor because he was James the Younger. We have another James who's older. James Minor was a cousin to Jesus, I believe. Right here we have Andrew. Andrew was the first called by Christ to follow him. Down here, we have a shadowy figure. I think you might know who that is. A shadowy figure who has his neck twisted, looking towards Christ. In his hand, he is holding a bag with 20 silver pieces. Yes, you guessed it. That is Judas. Up here is Peter. Peter was one of Christ's closest confidants. Next to Peter, we have John. Some people dispute that this is Mary, but it is indeed John. John, also a very close confidant of Christ. In the center, we have Christ. And here, guess who that is with his finger pointing up? That is Thomas, sometimes known as Doubting Thomas. I won't go into that story right now. Next to him is James Major. He was also a very close confidant of Christ. Next to him, we have Philip. I don't know much about Philip, but he was one of the apostles. Matthew, author of the Gospel of Matthew. Yes, that Matthew. Thaddeus, who was also known as Jude, not to be confused with Judas. And at the end here, we have Simon the Zealot. So that's who's in our piece, in case you've ever been wondering who they are. So what's so amazing about this painting? Well, what's amazing about it is this moment in time that Da Vinci captured, that no other artist had captured in this scene before. So let's take a moment, let's put ourselves into this painting. Let's imagine maybe that we are one of the apostles. We're sitting here at this table. We've helped to lay the Passover meal. We've helped to prepare it. We're all sitting around this beautiful table. We are all devout followers of Christ. We sense a strong brotherhood, a sense of loyalty and devotion among us to Christ. When suddenly Christ says, I tell you, one of you will betray me. That is the moment, right after Christ says that, that is the moment that Da Vinci captures so beautifully in this painting. You can see on the faces of the apostles, the body language, the expressions, the hand gestures. We've got shock and disbelief, maybe anger and confusion. We see protest, sadness on the face of John, and certainly chaos. Of course, in sharp contrast to that is the countenance of Christ, looking serene, calm, and accepting. And yet the chaos goes on, and the apostles start saying, please, please, Christ, tell me it is not me. I hope it's not me. And he responds, one who dips his bread in the dish with me will betray me. So pull your eye down here to Christ's right hand. Do you see him reaching out towards this dish right here? And then here we have Judas's left hand also reaching out toward the dish. Christ has identified his betrayer in that statement. He has identified Judas. So the other reason, the other event that makes the Last Supper, of course, so important is it is the first Holy Communion or first Eucharist, even though it's the Last Supper. So as you know, it was at this supper that Jesus took the bread and he gave thanks and he broke it and he gave it to his disciples and he said, take and eat, this is my body. And then he took the cup and he gave it to them and he says, drink, this is my blood, poured out for the many forgiveness of sins. That also is taking place in this painting. He goes on to say, I tell you, I think this is so beautiful. I'm reading this from Matthew, by the way. I tell you, I will never again drink this wine until the day I drink the new wine with you in my Father's kingdom. The painting seems alive, doesn't it? Very human. It's as though these events are unfolding right in front of us. Da Vinci gives us this insight into the emotion and the psychology of these people. The painting also encompasses the whole Christ. We see him so divine there, backlit in this halo of light coming from the Italian countryside, his face peaceful and serene, accepting. But there he is, Christ the human, just there within the chaos and the messiness of the human experience. So it is a very complete painting or version of Christ. And that's all I have for you today, but I will be back with more Holy Week art history, and I will see you then. Bye, everyone.